are you? Look into my eyes. There's a world in my eyes. Where are you, stranger? Why don't you look at me? I like to be looked at. Can you see me? Medusa! Oh, sister! Where is he? Kill him!
Hello, I'm David and I'm presenting for our group. We're going to go over Perseus and Medusa. Here's our agenda. We're going to start with an introduction and the origins of both Perseus and Medusa. And then we're going to go into the myth and close it out with some final thoughts. So first of all, this tale is one of the most iconic and well-recognized Greek myths throughout popular culture, especially today. They've even been adapted into many films many times, and their characters cross over into many different stories and ideas. Perseus is the son of Zeus and Danae, and after hearing a prophecy, his grandfather Perseus threw him into the ocean so that Perseus wouldn't end up killing him like the prophecy said. And then they washed ashore on an island and they were taken in, but the king of the island wanted Perseus' mother, so he tasked Perseus to kill Medusa, which is an extremely difficult challenge, so that way he could take Perseus out of the picture. As for Medusa, she is the only mortal of the Gorgon sisters. She was cursed by Athena after having some relations with Poseidon in one of Athena's temples. She was then slain by Perseus and birthed 2 sons from her neck wounds. Her head is said to be in different places according to different legends. Okay, so our myth begins with a prophecy and Zeus impregnating a human woman, as many prophecies do, or as many Greek myths do. So Arcerius, king of Argos, goes to the oracle and receives a prophecy that his grandson, who is yet to be born, would kill him in the future. In order to prevent the prophecy from coming true, Perseus threw his daughter into a prison, but that didn't stop Zeus from impregnating her with Perseus. And once Perseus was born, he threw them both into a chest and then into the ocean in order to get rid of them because he didn't want to die.
So when Perseus and his mom get sent into the ocean by Perseus, with Zeus' help, they get to the shore. And Perseus ends up living a normal life with 3 parents, but no godfather. That is until... So after Perseus and his mom settle in the island, seem to have a pretty normal life, the king of the island, Perseus, appears, and he's attracted to the mom of Perseus. So he tries to get rid of Perseus by sending him to do a challenge that is really hard to complete, where he probably will die. So after Perseus sets out his quest, he receives some help from some of the gods. For example, Hermes gives him a sword and winged sandals, and Athena gives him the mirror shield, just in case Medusa tries to look at him. So Athena then tells him he must go to the Great Sisters. The Great Sisters are 3 ancient crones who share 1 eye and 1 tooth. So Perseus grabs the eye from them and convinces them to show him the way to Medusa. So Perseus goes to Hera's garden, where she welcomes him normally, and he asks the nymphs of the garden to give him a helmet for protection and for being invisible while confronting Medusa, and a sack for holding Medusa's head.
Now, I wish I could tell you that this was a battle made for the ages, the clashing of metal with the claws of the vile Medusa, lightning and fire everywhere. But no, Perseus is a very pragmatic hero. He sneaks in while Medusa's asleep and cuts her head off. Okay, now you may have noticed there's something missing here. This is a legend. There's supposed to be fighting and conquest and maybe a princess somewhere. Well, now asking you shall receive. On his journey home, Perseus spots a beautiful woman, whose name is Andromeda, chained to a rock. And when he pops down to say, hey, why are you chained to a rock? She tells him that she's a princess and that her mother has managed to piss off Poseidon. And Poseidon has decided to retaliate by sending a sea monster to just go and trash everything in sight. And that the only way they can stop the sea monster is to sacrifice Andromeda. Because reasons. And Perseus, as every Greek hero seems to do, vows to slay the monster and save Princess Andromeda. And thankfully, the monster then appears. It has good timing like that. So the battle ensues, and it depends on who you're hearing it from, whether Perseus slays him with his sword or whether he just pulls out Medusa's head and turns the thing to stone. But either way, the monster is defeated and the princess is rescued. Yay! So, with the monster slain, the quest complete, and the princess in hand, Perseus returns home to Seriphus, where he discovers that the king intends to force a marriage between Perseus' mother and himself. And Perseus isn't having any of that. He says, "King, I've come to show you what I've brought back," and pulls out Medusa's head and turns him and his entire court of bad guys to stone. And everything ends happy. Perseus and Andromeda get married, the fisherman who saved him as a boy becomes king. Oh, and that little prophecy at the beginning, yeah, the king gets beamed by a discus when he goes to the Olympic Games that Perseus is taking part in it. And that's the end.
The story of Perseus and Medusa is one that has many different effects on the ancient Greek world, that being in literature and in history. And literature, it ties back to many of the ancient Greek mythologies and stories, and many of the concepts within the story of Perseus and Medusa are found in these newer stories as well. The first being a prophecy, the prophecy being Perseus being killed by one of his grandsons, which happened and it was fulfilled as we stated before. The demigod being Perseus himself, which was, he was the son of Danae and Zeus. And then a supernatural enemy, in this case being Medusa and the sea serpent, who he fought to free Andromeda. And then the nearly impossible quest is that of which he goes to cut Medusa's head off. Which, if you think about it, it's a quest that is nearly impossible to do. And then finally, Nostos, that homecoming of him coming back to his family, and I guess freeing his mom from the marriage to the ruler of the island. So then, as I mentioned before in the previous slide, Perseus himself as a character has many ties to ancient history itself. The main connection to Perseus in the real world is him being the mythological founder of Mycenae, which is one of the places we learn about to begin this course. Mycenae is most notable for being involved in the Trojan War, and besides that, it's also one of the earliest settlements of ancient Greece. With all this history and literature being tied back to Perseus, we found it a good myth to bring about and a good way to tie the story back to even modern times.
And so I cry sometimes when I'm lying in bed just to get it all out what's in my head.
And his mother, Danae, what was it?
So I wake
Okay, now there's that.
up outside and I sing it.